The world around us is changing, and it's changing faster than we can imagine. Now, regardless of what you and I may think of it, electric is the future, and at some point, internal combustion engines would cease to exist. I know it's a cynical take on the inevitable, and it pains me to think that the era of performance cars with big petrol engines is on its way out. But hey, it's not the end just yet, and we still have brands who are committed towards keeping the big old V8 in our landscape. Again, call me cynical, but I do not associate V8s with the visuals and noise of a small block Chevy or Ford's 5-liter Coyote. In fact, I have always resonated more with AMG and how they worked with V8 engines in their cars. And if you ask me, it's not the AMG GT or even the SLS that truly defines this crazy brand. It's actually this car right here, the E63S AMG. It's peak AMG recipe of putting a huge powerful engine into an executive sedan done just right. And Mercedes, as we know, has been putting V8s in the E-Class for so many years that the E63 has undoubtedly become one of the most iconic AMGs of all time. So it all started in 1986 with the AMG Hammer. By the way, I absolutely love that name, and it perfectly sums up what AMG did to the base W124 E-Class back in the day. Now that car had a 3.6 liter V8 engine, which made 360 brake horsepower, and I'm sure nothing else on the road felt the same back in the day. And I believe it was the AMG Hammer which inspired AMG to make more of this Frankenstein goodness. Since then, the world has seen the W210 and the W211 E-Class, both powered by V8 engines of course, but it's the W212 generation that I can actually relate with. It's the first E63 AMG that we got here in India, and originally it had a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, but Mercedes ended up selling the updated model with a twin-turbo 5.5 liter V8. Cut to 2022 and the AMG recipe for the E-Class has stayed the same. If anything, there's even more spice and punchy flavors if you ask me. So we all know that it's not a regular sedan, and perhaps I am in the minority when I say that the new E63S with its flared haunches, red brake calipers, quad tailpipes and disc brakes the size of extra large pizzas is pedantically exotic. But it's not the looks that justify the massive premium over the regular E-Class, but it's this absurd 4-liter twin-turbo V8 engine and the trick all-wheel drive system which will eventually render you speechless. Now, I have driven the old E63 AMG with the 5.5-liter twin-turbo V8, and compared to that, this new 4-liter engine, it doesn't sound as glorious, but there is no questioning that it's very effective. No messing around here, the E63S is devastatingly fast off the line. It did 0 to 100 in 3.6 seconds when we tested it for acceleration, and that's all because of how well the all-wheel drive system distributes power across the front and rear axle. What's really amusing to me though is that it takes minimal efforts to hold shot this car off the line. So let me show you. All you need to do is put it in race mode like that, hold it on the brakes, foot flat to the floor, and lift off. And that's how you launch this thing. It puts you into another dimension altogether. The whole thing hunkers down as it points towards the horizon with that raw bellowing V8 soundtrack. So you get majority of the 850 Nm of peak torque from as low as 2500 RPM. But with all that engine capacity and twin turbos, it feels like you have been shot out of a cannon no matter what speed or gear you're in. The build-up of speed is brutal once you're past 4000 RPM, and if I'm honest, you simply do not need any more power. This is it. Now, as much as I would like to harp on about how this new E63S has lost a bit of its mad soul by being an all-wheel drive car, it's just silly. Because having this much power and torque go through only the rear wheels on our dusty roads with so many bumps, undulations and camber is inviting trouble if you don't know what you're doing. But you know the best part about the new E63S? It's the fact that you can turn this car into an old school AMG simply by pressing a few buttons. In fact, you can configure this all-wheel drive system to be fully rear-wheel drive for times when you're feeling really brave. You can be a responsible giggly idiot if you want to be that. This configurable all-wheel drive system makes the new E63S so much more usable, it's not even funny. Yes, it is heavy and you can feel it when you go hard, but because of all-wheel drive and so much mechanical grip, the E63S feels incredibly planted and positive. It's a genuine all-weather performance sedan that you can use every day. More so if you happen to have good roads around where you live. But would you want to use it daily though? So it's not perfect, even with air suspension and comfort mode. The thing is, the compression on the AMG suspension isn't adequate to deal with the kind of unevenness and potholes that we have on our roads, and this car really struggles to absorb them. It does get better at highway speeds, but overall it rides harsh and you will have to be extremely mindful of where you're going. The last couple of days with the E63S AMG have amounted to what has been a neurotic experience, and I'm not saying that simply because of the low clearance or the harsh ride. It's mostly to do with the fact that the future, it's not looking too good for those who are fans of big engines in AMG models. I mean, the new C63 AMG, it's already given up its V8 engine for a much smaller 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with electric motors. And that will certainly be the case with this E63 AMG at some point. Now, I'm not saying that that car won't be remarkable. In fact, it will be crazy fast and it will be efficient at the same time. But it will also mark the end of what has been one of the most ultimate V8 engines of all time. And that will make this car one of the last V8 powered E63 AMGs even more special, and if you ask me, it will be the most influential E63 of its kind.